Hello everyone, I'm Iron Phoenix and welcome to Minecraft. And I think it's time for us to talk about the elephant in the room. Yes, indeed. So, what is the elephant in the room today? Well, it's Gregtech. Let me explain. Gregtech started out as a very noble idea. The idea was that you could lengthen the amount of time that it took to get from a very basic sort of Stone Age technology to quantum armor and the advanced machines. And it worked very well, I thought. I actually, after the getting over the initial shock of it, of going from IC2, which was a very short game, to Gregtech, which was much longer, I thought it was actually quite a good system, because it did actually lengthen the amount. It gave you a little bit more accomplishment. It lengthened the game. It meant that people couldn't get quantum armor quite so quickly, and that was a good thing. And he also included some rather nifty little things. So if you added electrum instead of redstone into a circuit, you would get multiple circuits, and that was again a very good thing, very neat. But now it has changed an awful lot. In last build was bad enough, really. The requirement to make a wrench and plates instead of just being able to use normal refined iron in order to make a machine block effectively doubled the cost of a machine block, until you could make yourself a bending machine, or a plate bender I think it's called. And you know, I got used to it, because, well, I got plate bender as quickly as I could, really. But I last map I wasn't really playing with Gregtech. I avoided it as much as I could. But this build, you cannot avoid it at all, I don't think. Because as soon as you want to do something that helps you build up your tech levels, you run into problems, serious problems. Let me explain. Right, I'm just going to nip outside and grab myself a log. So, in vanilla, your logs would give you 4 planks, and these planks would then probably be used to build your first house, because at the start of the game that's pretty much what you do. You either dig yourself a hole or you build yourself a house out of wood. And one of your main, you know, something like oak wood would normally get you 4 planks, now only gives you 2. Rubber wood will only give you 1, because that's a mod thing, and rubber, you know, that gives you just 1. However, if you had something like a sawmill, you can get 8 planks out of it. That's a thermal expansion item, and it requires an iron axe, and this is where we start to hit our rather more serious issues. But let me explain. So, in survival mode, as I said, at the start of Minecraft, you'll be building your house and sorting out your food. That's pretty much what you want to be just basically doing at the start. What you don't want to be doing is hunting for enough trees to build your house, which is effectively what Gregtech does, is that it forces you to look for more resources in order to build basic machines. I mean, you need to cut down 2 logs to make yourself a crafting bench now. So, you know, and chances are you're going to be doing that by hand. So it does lengthen, it physically lengthens the game even right from the start, and that is not a good thing. Right, let's go on to... So, I mean, Greg has added a saw that you can use. This is a specific Gregtech saw. It is not, you can't do it with your hand saw. You can do it with your various chainsaws. So this is the saw, and as you can see, it requires a file and a hammer, as well as 2 iron plates and several sticks. A hammer this is a steel one, but for the iron hammer, this is refined iron and a stick. Let me just, I'll bring up the hammer. That's prison hammer, is steel hammer, ceramic hammer. Oh god, where are you? There we go. So that's, oh, there's also a rubber one, but I'm not sure if that works. No, that doesn't work. So yeah, we've got this iron hammer made with refined iron and a stick, and you also need a file. But before you make your file, obviously you need to make your hammer, because the iron file requires plates, which is 2 refined iron and a hammer. So the whole beginning of the game is a lot harder. So no longer are you literally just worrying about building your house and getting some food, but you're also thinking about the additional basic tools that you'll need to start making basic machines. And when you're faced with building an axe using that recipe, you're not going to be particularly, enthused. You're instantly going to look for a different mod that gives you an easier to build axe, because that is ridiculous. All in all, if you're just building that recipe, having built the file and the hammer, you are looking at 15 iron to make your first iron axe. And I mean, it continues throughout all the iron tools, I believe. There are alternatives, obviously. There's things like the force pickaxe, which is a lot easier to make in comparison. You just need to find yourself some force wood. You've also got obviously these tools, the Tinker's Construct tools. So instead of building yourself all that faff around with the iron stuff, you can build yourself a Tinker's Construct foundry, like so. That just needs lots of clay and gravel and sand, but it's a little bit more interesting than going actually outside and finding those materials and mining away in a mine for all of your life. And that's, I think, really where Greg has lost his way. It's no longer a mod about enabling you to lengthen your experience, but it's actually starting to become a little bit of a pain to actually deal with these things, because you do need to be able to build an iron axe in order to build yourself a sawmill, so that you can get 8 planks instead of 2. And as I said, he does add saw, which gives you 4 planks, but really the saw isn't any cheaper than, well, it isn't a lot cheaper really than making yourself an axe and thus a sawmill. So really I don't see why anybody would go for an iron saw over building yourself a sawmill. Obviously that does require gold and a little bit more iron for the machine frame, but that is a reasonably sensible recipe. Building yourself an iron axe with 15 iron is not really a sensible recipe whatsoever. And as you can see, I'm using this hatchet. It's an alumite hatchet from Tinker's Construct, because it's a lot easier and a lot cheaper to make. So that is my elephant in the room. All in all, I think Greg's lost his way. What with the dramas previously between MDIO and Greg, and the direction that Greg is currently taking his mod, it's starting to get to a point where he can change any mod that he likes. No one's allowed to change anything in his mod, and woe betide you ever try. For those of you that don't know, when Greg added his plank thing to Gregtech, MDIO changed the recipe back using Tinker's Construct. So if you had Tinker's Construct and Gregtech installed at the same time, you would be using the vanilla recipe for getting yourself planks. And in retaliation to this, obviously the logical way to escalate is to make Minecraft crash if Gregtech detects Tinker's construct installed. Yes, that makes perfect sense, doesn't it? That's what anyone would do, instead of just contacting the mod authors and, you know, working it out in a more sensible fashion that doesn't hurt your fans. And quite frankly, I agree with MDio. I think Greg is going very much over the top with how he's changing the game, and he's forcing these things on people. Yes, I know he's got configs and you can change the configs, but why should I have to change the configs to allow me to play with a sort of an easier start and having a bit of a difficulty curve to get to the end? That's what the mod should be. It should be a difficulty curve, not a difficulty cliff, because that's what it currently is. It's start game, oh crap, I've got to deal with all this now, and that's not a good progression. So yes, that's my elephant in the room, and any modder who stands up to Greg in any way, shape or form, I'm fully behind them. I think that Greg is going very much over the top with his mod, and I think he's quite frankly a little bit out of control with everything that he's adding. He could definitely do something about his progression curve to make it a lot more friendlier for fresh starts, and then gradually increasing the difficulty for more advanced, more complicated machines. I suspect the reason why he has done this is because other mods give much better automation for much less cost than his mod, and in order to almost keep up with the other mods, he has to fiddle with those other mods to make his mod more desirable. But it isn't desirable, it's forced. That's what I don't like about the mod. It is a forced mod. If you have it on, you have to use his tools in order to progress in other mods, and that's not good. Though, I will say this: MDio, Soren, Azanor, all of you, Sir Sengir, Covert Jaguar, Player, Eloram, even when you finally release RP2 for 1.6, you're doing a fantastic job, all of you. And I know you probably won't see this video ever, but you're doing a fantastic job, and keep it up, because your mods are what make Minecraft live, and it's your mods that keep innovating and pushing the envelope of what Minecraft can do. Yeah, to all you modders out there, and prospective modders out there as well, if you want to mod for Minecraft, do it. If you've got a good idea, do it, because why not? So, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.